Hello, my friends. Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. This is Jennifer. I have about 2/3 of the half squares triangles that I showed you guys last week on the wall, and I'm going to put a little picture in here so you can kind of see what I'm going for. These blocks here, the ones that have like the big diamond, I thought those would make great setting blocks, and then all the other blocks are going to be different sampler blocks. I only had a couple of suggestions last week, and one of them was from Kim, who suggested pinwheels or chevrons, and I did do a couple that have pinwheels in the center. That one does, and this one down here does, and I love that idea. I really want to keep this like scrappy sort of traditional blocks made from half square triangles, and but I want them to have a flow, which is why I added sort of a setting block with this shape here. I have quite a few more left, so what I'm thinking I will do is make the blocks that are on my wall, because this will be 9. This is the only one I've pieced together so far. This will be 9 blocks, and then I might go back through my scraps and see if I have more stuff that I can cut up to make more half square triangles, because I think this needs to be a bigger quilt. I had high hopes for getting all of these pieced last week, but I mentioned to you guys in my video on Tuesday last week that we had an icy weekend, and we honestly had like 1.5 to 2 inches of ice on the ground everywhere, and it was starting to melt, and I went outside to do some things that needed to be done and managed to fall flat on my back. And I had I'm fine, I didn't break anything, but I was very sore for a few days, and turning this way for a couple of days was kind of difficult. I'm like totally fine now. I don't have any more aches and pains, just like good. I've got some lingering bruises and that's it. But it made it really hard to sew, because sewing, turning to pick things up, it was a lot. So I just left this on the wall and went and did other things that I was able to do instead. One of those things was to organize my manicure station, and I pulled out my Cricuts because I love to make a label. You guys have seen my sewing room, you know everything I have is labeled. Some of them are labels I've made on my Cricut, some are embroidered, and some of them are just a piece of masking tape with Sharpie on it, which is a thing that I do when I'm not sure if that thing will stay labeled the way it is, or if I just don't have time to set up a machine to make a pretty label. I picked up these little bottles with the push tops, so they lock or unlock, and then you open them, and then they have like a little plate that you squish, and inside of this hole is where the product comes out, so that you don't have to stop and uncap and pick up a bottle or whatever. So you put your cotton on there, you push, and then it's wet. So these were very inexpensive. I will put a link in the description to where I got them. I've bought these from a nail supply company, and again, you can lock it and unlock it. So I have 3 of these. This is the acetone, and I have an alcohol, and then this is my polish remover. I didn't get this one on quite straight, but it's just for me, so I decided I don't care. So those have been really useful, and I like that they are easy to access, and I can put the bigger containers away. While we're here, I want to take a minute to talk about Fandom and Stitches. For those of you who are new here, I am the person who owns and runs fandomandstitches.com. In addition to my own personal website, sewhookedjen.com, and Fandom and Stitches is a fandom quilting website where volunteers such as myself design patterns for fans to make. Everything is free. All of our designers are volunteers. All of our pattern testers are volunteers. Nobody makes any money. I pay for the website. My coffee supporters are the ones who take care of that and have done for a couple of years now, which is huge, especially once the Google prices went up a few years ago. That's why I started doing coffee, just to support the website, because I don't want it to have ads. But that's not what this is about. What this is about is the Fandom and Stitches community. It is our 15th anniversary. Fandom and Stitches has meant so much to so many people. I wanted to get some of those community stories out there. So you have an open invitation to email admin@fandomandstitches.com. I'll put it in the description. You can also find it on Fandom and Stitches. That is me. That goes to me. I only check the email about once a week, so you will get a vacation response when you email, but that is just so that you know that I will look at it, that I'm not ignoring you. What I'm asking for are stories and photos. Just tell us how Fandom and Stitches, like if it had any effect on your life. Did you make friends? Did you learn to sew? Did you learn to quilt? Did you make projects that were important to you? Did it get you through an important time in your life? It has certainly gotten me through a lot. 2020 and 2021, that was a huge thing for the whole world, but also for me personally, because I had a massive surgery where I was non-weight bearing for 6 months, and I had a sick friend living with me, so that was a big thing. 2015, I rebooted the Project of Doom from the original 2011 quilt along, and during that time lost 3 of the most important women in my life, and it really got me through that year to be able to come back to the community again and again and again. And that is also why there are so many patterns for that quilt along. So why in 2015 I designed I don't know, 60 new patterns for a quilt that originally only had 30 patterns. So it was something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot of patterns, and it was entirely an emotional release for me. So that's the kind of stuff I'm asking you guys for. We've already had a few stories shared. They're going up on Sundays, so you guys look for that on fandomandstitches.com and all of our social media. That is going to be it for me, guys. Let me know if you have any more ideas for quilt blocks made out of half square triangles, preferably the 16 patches. It's 4 across, 4 down. I can do math. 16 patches. You guys have a wonderful week. Have a crafty week. Stay safe, stay warm, hug the people you love, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.